Anyways, this is a test run with this headband phone holder, so hopefully I can take a few decent videos with this. I'm also equipped with a Bluetooth camera control, so I could just pause the video whenever I need to. One of the problems I can see with this is adjusting the angle, since I can't really see what I'm filming right now. I can only tell what the result is, or at least I can only guess what the result might be based on a couple of prior test runs. The other one is shaking. That is something I really cannot control. The band itself is a little on the soft side. That's how it can fit over my head. Plus, the ground is not exactly flat all the time. It's going to be a bumpy ride from here to where I want to go, because it's going to be one of the old parts of downtown. So that's that. Anyways, this is the most important street in downtown Xi'an, arguably. This place is called Dongwu, 5th Road, and this is where the subway line is. It is, of course, one of the most important major sections in the entire city because of that, right here. You can see there are traffic cops controlling the traffic here, just in case anybody stupid wants to break the traffic laws or whatever. By the way, I'm on a bike, and I'm going to be taking a quick tour around one of the more messed up neighborhoods. And this is where it starts. Right here from the 5th Road and north to the wall, and basically even more north from that point on. There are a lot of thieves, a lot of prostitutes, and I'm not sure if there's human trafficking now, but there used to be. And there were definitely a lot of pickpockets in this region. If we take a slow look around, we can see a couple of, one hospital, a bunch of restaurants, tiny local restaurants. But there are a lot of hidden hotels, aka brothels. And you can see a lot of hair salons and massage parlors, and this is a foot bath. So basically all of these are just brothels. It's pretty much common knowledge, I guess, for everyone in basically every culture. Here's a not too shady hotel, I would say, but in these kinds of tiny alleyways, when you go in there, they generally say they have rooms for rent, and they either rent it out to migrant workers or to sex workers, or so I presume. And during evenings and nights, a lot of pimps and mamas are gonna be out here getting clients. Oh wait, I overshot it a little. I need to go back. The destination today is 7th Road, which is right here. The reason I'm taking this road specifically is because it's unique. It offers a number of... you'll see. By the time we get there, it's gonna be interesting, to say the least. Because it was really surprising to me when I first found out about this place, because I didn't know it existed. I just took a shortcut through the traffic and ended up in a fairly hidden gem, I would say, a hidden gem. So to the right, that's Xi'an Station, railway station. I think this is the largest station in all of northwestern China, right here. And basically, in these old railway stations, areas around the old railway stations tend to be quite messed up. There's a lot of migrants, and with a lot of migrants, there's a lot of temporary visitors, and they sometimes do tend to get into some weird stuff. Over here, it's pretty much all just hostels, really cheap hostels, and they cost around $10 or so to stay for a whole night, even in today's market. And apparently this intersection does not have a traffic light, so it's pretty much free for all at this point. But in Xi'an, at least most of the time, the cars will stop for you. Oh, and by the way, bikes basically count as pedestrians and not as motor vehicles. So this is something that's a little different. Which is why a lot of people just ride it on the sidewalk or whatever. Plus, there's really no way you can avoid illegally parked cars that take up the bike paths. And oftentimes, like this one, they'll take up the sidewalk as well. Some of these are illegally parked, some of them are not, because that's the owner's car. And anyways, we're still on 7th Road. Most of these bus stops have either a digitized sign or at least one that's not painted on. But these old streets still have painted signs for the bus stops. An old convenience store. I think that's one of the historic buildings from the Republic of China era. Groceries. Sorry if I'm shaking too much. This is my first video taken with this headband. Here's one of those historic places that I mentioned. This place is called Xi'an. I have no idea what it's about, and it has something to do with the communist revolutions in Xi'an, whatnot, I think. And I believe it's connected to the Xi'an incident. So if you want to look into that, it basically is how one of the warlords / generals of Chiang Kai-shek forced him into going into an alliance with the communists to fight off the Japanese invasion. And now we are in front of a school. This is a elementary school, and the parents are here to pick up their kids. Right now it's already not exactly the time. I think it's already way past the regular time for the kids to go home. So you don't see huge crowds of parents just waiting right here, except for this little bit. Anyways, I'm gonna be stuck in traffic here, at least for a little while. Even if I do go up to the sidewalk, I don't think there's any way I can move myself out of here. So, slow and steady. Yeah, a lot of people are still here to pick up their kids. You're gonna see this in front of literally every school in China. There is no avoiding it. There are a lot of people, and the parents have to take care of their kids. There's nothing they can do. Each class has like 60 students. Yeah, 60 students. So imagine the amount of work you have to do if you were to teach one of these classes. So there's going to be 60 sets of homework that you are going to have to take care of. Mark, grade, and then all these students you have to look after. It's not something a regular teacher would want to try out. Plus the pay is not exactly great either for most of the teachers. And that's because I used to work in this field and decided not to go along with it anymore. It's just not worth it. It's a lot of work for fairly little financial reward. There's definitely the reward of having taught a bunch of nice kids and they learn stuff and you see them progress. Yeah, that's something I love about teaching, but I gotta make a living and I want to live off an easy life, not one that I have to really spend a whole lot of effort to take care of. Well, one thing that I'm really thankful about though during my teaching career is that all of the parents that I've worked with were just really understanding and they were nice. So even when my employer was being a jerk to me, the parents were on my side. Still, I'm happy doing literally nothing these days. Yeah, just basically playing games, watching anime, sometimes make a video or two. Alright, so around the schools there's gonna be a lot of stationery stores, there's gonna be bubble tea, and there's gonna be a lot of cheap food, street food. And this area is no exception. Here's some bubble tea places. These two are fairly popular. The one with the snowman offers really cheap bubble tea, and the other one is more expensive, but it has a lot of content. Basically stuff the entire cup with solid stuff. Really, if you're riding a bike in China, it's probably a good idea to just stay on the motor road. Here's another grocery chain. I had this in my last video, but it's one of their other chains. I think this one sells milk. Yes, dairy and milk products. Lots of clothing stores, drugstore. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, I'm gonna move down to the motor road. Yeah, again, plenty of drugstores and clothing stores. Same thing here. A couple of restaurants here and there. Schools, hospitals. Alright, now there's a lot more halal food. Everything here is halal, almost. And this is one of the more interesting buildings in China, in Xi'an. It's a church. Most churches around this area look like this. And I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's Catholic, but could be wrong. And they have words written on the two sides in a Chinese fashion, but it is one of them Christian sects churches. I don't know which one it is. Sorry, I'm not exactly educated in Christianity. Alright, Right, and we are inching closer to the Muslim quarters, but again, that's not really where I want to go today. There are lots of these chains, and this is stationery shop. More schools, apartment buildings. Now, most parts of Xi'an do not really look like this. This is the old town, and it's really in a state of disrepair. A lot of people are just staying here because they've stayed here for generation after generation, and it's going to be really tough to move these old neighborhoods or to demolish them. But this is still in the process. There are a lot of these old neighborhoods being demolished and turned into either new apartment buildings or high-rises pretty much all the time. My grandma's place was just recently acquired by the Bailey Museum. So that's the Forest of Steels Museum, and they're expanding the museum to include where my grandma's house was at this point. That's the sign for a public washroom. And these are some of the older houses in Xi'an. They tend to look like this, made very simply with just one layer of bricks. And even a minor earthquake should be able to shatter these places. They're dangerous to live in. They're infested with rats. They barely are functional in terms of electricity, and many of them, if not all of them, do not even have running water or plumbing. So if they need to use the bathroom, they have to use the public bathroom. I grew up in one of those buildings, and I hate it, to say the least. And in a sense, I'm glad to see that they're getting rid of them, but would be nice if they could preserve the old neighborhood and at least a feeling of the same type of architecture, but with renewed utilities and infrastructure. Would be nice if they could, but it's unlikely that they'll do that. Okay, that looks like a body shop. That was more of these sketchy hostels in these streets. Okay, live fish, live shrimps, pet store, barbers, all that. Typical old neighborhood. Yeah, typical old neighborhood in all of China, really. I've seen streets like this all over the place. Funeral supplies. And I think I should be turning left soon to the secret spot that I was talking about. This is not uncommon either. I have moved using this exact method as well several times. It's not cheap at all, it's not cheap. But it is definitely convenient especially when there's huge traffic and you don't really need to hire an entire truck. Oh, okay, I think that's a post office. You don't see those too often now. And these apartment buildings. These are basically built in the 50s, 60s Soviet style. And at this point, it's basically a relic of the past. All these buildings are waiting to be demolished, and most of these have already been taken down. This one, however, apparently has been maintained at some point recently, so maybe this one will stand for a while longer. But still, my family used to live in one of those apartments for a while, I think for a couple of years, back when they worked in a state-owned enterprise. But for the majority of my childhood that was spent in Xi'an, I lived in one of those shacks that I was talking about that didn't have running water and anything like that. Okay, so at this intersection is where I need to turn left, if I remember correctly, because I've only stumbled upon that place only one time, and it was during the evening, I think. I was pretty much delirious at that point from being overworked. Ah, nice parquet. I did not notice this parquet last time I was here. At the next intersection, I should be turning right or across. I'll see what happens. I don't remember how to get there anymore. Okay, something's going on here. Hopefully that's not where I was supposed to go. Something about housing funding office. I don't really know what it is. It's one of the more government stuff. And old people playing xiangqi, Chinese chess. That's a common sight in all of China. There used to be a shoe repair guy here. Should be right here, but I guess he's not out today. Yeah, he used to be right here. More old men playing. Shit, I think those guys are playing Pai Shou. Oh, I'm not gonna go check it out now. Oh, by the way, Pai Shou is a real game, but it's not played in the same way as the show Avatar, The Last Airbender, and all that. It's a card game, an ancient card game. Which direction am I facing? South? South, yes. Because the sun is to my right and it's 6 p.m. Yep, I should be right. South, so now I'm going east by turning over here. Yeah, this is the right direction. Yep, I'm going east now. And the place is in one of these little alleyways, really hard to find, but there's a sign outside of it. If I could find that sign again. There it is! Got it! They're going out of business. Again, I apologize for all the shaking, but here it is, the special alleyway. This is an outside barbecue place that's not exactly in business right now, and this is a neighborhood that's, I believe, waiting to... No, it's not waiting to be demolished. It's actually one of the older neighborhoods in Xi'an. Oh yeah, this one. This is the path. Yunju Temple, the royal temple of, I think, the Tang Dynasty. And it's just over here after a few twists and turns of this alley. It's one of those state housing places. Ow, my head is hurting from the rubber band. It smells like piss. Alright, here we go. Oh, here it is, the temple. The Imperial Temple of the Tang Dynasty, right over here in the middle of the city, but extremely difficult to find. This thing has been recording all this time. The temple is closed now, but I'm not planning on going inside anyway. I'll put my bike here for a bit and just show the rest of the temple, at least as much of it as I can. And I'm going to be following this path home. It's in a really old neighborhood, so yeah, a lot of old people are here. But that does not stop delivery drivers from coming in here. Nor does it stop tourists. But to be honest, there are very few tourists to this temple. Mainly, I believe, is because of the access. There is almost no access. You wouldn't be able to find this place unless you accidentally stumble upon it like I did. Because literally, you can't even fit through this path if you're fat. Whoa. Alright. And it's gonna be a little difficult to fit two bikes, of course. But here we are. Don't mind the trash pile. It happens everywhere. I hope somebody will clean it up at some point. Here's the rest of the temple. But of course, we're not gonna be going in there. And right through this tiny alley, we have reached the Muslim quarters. This is the northern entrance. The entrance that almost nobody knows, except for the locals. And most of the better restaurants are from this point on towards the right, this side. Food from this Xi'an northern entrance is pretty authentic most of the time. And this is where most locals tend to enter the Muslim quarters. Going to head east and go home. So hopefully that was not too bad of a video, and I will see you eventually.